Hello YouTube. Hello YouTube. How is everyone doing? I took a long nap, so I'm up. I should be asleep and I'm up, like my sleeping pattern. And I was just telling my son, like, when I was doing security working 1 to 9, it was always good because I would be up till 3 doing homework, but I would fall asleep and I didn't have to wake up till 11. So that'd be 8 hours of sleep that I got more sleep when my working hours was late. Naturally, as adults, you just don't go to sleep early, most of us, and it's funny because for the first time in a while, I didn't fall asleep at work today. The student I had was a lot of work. So I came home, took a nap, and the funny thing is my schedule now is very limited. School is over for me. I graduated. My son is older, so I don't have to pick him up. He rarely needs help with homework. We'll have a conversation. I'll cook. I cooked after my nap tonight, so yeah, put some lunch to the side so I can have some lunch for tomorrow or whatever. But tonight I wanted to talk about brainwashing. And I'm going to always talk about something churchy or something biblical because that's how I was raised. And on my channel, you're going to learn about various things. I'm going to talk about celebrities. I talk about it all. But this was in my spirit and I just had to tell someone. And I know a lot of people watch me. And I might ruffle some feathers and comment below. I'm not going to say the name of the church. Something is telling me don't say the name. But there's a church. I actually went there for elementary school. It's in Bushwick. And this particular church is very influential in Brooklyn. Particular bishop, well known. And he passed away in 2018. They kicked his wife out of the home that they shared, and the church kicked her out. Fast forward to this year on Easter, I meet somebody at Hezekiah Walker Church, and she was just there for Easter, I guess. And she was defending that. I said, oh, you go to Pilgrim? I went to the elementary school, and we started talking. I was like, oh, how can you go to a church like that? And they kicked the first lady out. Like, let's cancel the Christian thing. She's human. That's my whole thing. Like, she's human. She's in her 50s. I'm not saying you can't start over and get a career, but the woman hadn't worked in over 20 years. Common sense is going to be hard for her to get a job. And I feel so bad for this lady. And those of us former students and church members, we got together and we put up a GoFundMe for her because it's like she wasn't just a first lady, she was the principal of our school, and she talked about that too when they got married. Because what happened was, once her husband started getting big, he went from a bishop to an archbishop. Once he became archbishop, he couldn't be at the school like that. So he had to put her in charge of the school. She was in charge 5th and 6th grade, which was 2001. And 2001 it shut down. That was the first time that I ever felt sad about anything. The dream that I had about the school being on fire meant trouble, and 2 years later it shut down. And it was heartbreaking because they didn't tell our parents that they were shutting down. I remember it was April of that school year. And my father was pissed. He was like, how they going to tell us last minute that they shutting down? Like, how am I supposed to find a school for you such last minute? You know what I mean? And I ended up in a bullshit ass school for 7th grade. Trey Whitfield. Yes, that was the name. And they had the classes in the trailers and they hit us with sticks. Luckily, I left and went on to Bethel. But yeah, like, I can't imagine what if Pilgrim would have stayed. Oh, I slipped and said it. What if they would have stayed open till 8th grade? Like, what high school would I still have went to Bethel? Like, who knows, for high school. But basically, it's funny because it popped up. I wasn't looking for it. I actually was gonna watch Thriller as I uploaded me and my son with the Thriller dance. You know, I was looking for Thriller, right? And so it pops up. And so I kid you not, the same lady who used to walk around the school, she wasn't a teacher, she wasn't a dean, she wasn't none of that. She just used to walk around the school. She's the bishop now. She got this mean, evil face, and she still got that mean, evil face. And they had a service for her and was congratulating her, whatever. And I noticed that they're not in the big church, or what they call the Renaissance. They're in the small church where we used to have chapel. And they gave it to the Spanish people, but now they have it. That's because it looked like a lot of people left, which I'm happy, because that's wicked. And I said that to say this. I would never tell anybody what church not to go to, but I beseech you, anybody listening to this channel, trust me, God does not like ugly, and woe be unto her and that entire ministry, because you don't do that to people. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And that lady that I seen on Easter, she had the nerve to want to exchange numbers. I should have told her to her face, no thank you. But don't go, the point that I'm trying to make in this video, don't go by people's titles, credentials, or any of that. Go by how they treat people. Remember I talked about my father's church, shout out to Brown Memorial. They treat people with kindness, right? They do things for the community. Every year, even when they was going through their financial tough time, and this is the part that I love about my father's church, is the fact of they are going through it. First of all, their mortgage is $17,000, which I didn't know. Like, damn, that's a lot of money. So $17,000, they can't afford to have plenty of times when it's been cold in winter, they didn't have heat in the sanctuary, and they can't afford air conditioner in the summertime. They have church in the dining hall. And even though they're going through their financial woes, they still do for the community. Back to school giveaways. They have raffles and you know, they parties for the kids and so much. Then they have a program to help people get jobs, and one time the pastor, he announced they were helping people get their CDL license. They help the shelters. There's so much things that they do in the midst of their struggle. So I'm gonna always be attracted to that, because they do for the community, right? So every church has their flaws, but you have to look at that. How do they treat their members? How do they treat their leaders? Okay? Because even though the bishop has passed away, how do you kick the first lady out? And it's just okay. At least be a resource to her, because I get it. Trust me. You know, sometimes somebody could fall on hard times and they messed you over. They done talked about you. They done played you. And now you got to help this person. I don't know what happened or the dynamic between First Lady, whatever she did. But bottom line, she needed a place to stay. And they should have been a resource. Somebody knows something of how to get her on her feet. And it was a shame that she went on the radio. They didn't give her a dime, and they gave her a few days to vacate the premises. First of all, what happened to Swatters' rights? I would have definitely, what happened to Swatters' rights? She been living there 20 years. She got mail and everything. Like, no. Claim Swatters' rights. But I guess they overrid her, and she was Yeah, and she became homeless, and it's just really sad. Really, really sad. And I said all that to say this. That is not the only church that does trifling things to people. And she's not people, that's the bishop's widow. So if they did that to her, it's like, wow. Like, wow. But it's really sad because a lot of our, and I say our, black, a lot of our churches is not right. The way they treat people, the way they treat their own people. You know, you would think she's a crackhead the way they treat her, and it's not right. And I beseech everybody on the sound of my voice, have discernment. Have discernment. Don't just go to a church because the choir sounds good. You know, I went to a church and everybody was, and this is not bashing gay people, but it doesn't make no sense that everybody, even the pastor, got sugar in their tank. What is going on? What is going on? God is not pleased. Every time somebody come at me and say, oh, God is not pleased. God is not pleased. I pray from a distance. God know my heart. But I wanted to let people know, don't be brainwashed. Don't go there because your mom and them say whatever. Try to have a discussion amongst your family and try to see, try to really understand. We're living in trying times. These are the last days. And I believe it because I'm sitting there watching the service and they're praising the woman that put somebody out on the street. I'm like, y'all talking about she's a good leader. She put somebody out on the street and y'all are praising her, saying she's a woman of God. All I could do is pray. Lord, have mercy on their souls. Like, that's wicked. That's evil. And she looked mean. When I was a kid, she looked mean. That lady still looked mean. And I'm like, where'd she come from? And she's the bishop? No. But, yeah, stay prayed up. Don't be brainwashed. Have your own brain. Yes. And those are my thoughts.